Just a wee warning, this one's kind of long, go grab a cup or a wee snack. So in this video I'm gathering my characters, I'm showing you how they were built, I'm gathering the background stuff that I really liked from the last videos, and I'm gonna put them together and see what I can do about some mock-ups so you can get a wee idea of what I'm up to. I should really talk about my concept a lot in this one, so that's an aim as well. And I'm also going to practice being a bit more critical. I've got crits this week and I realise I've been really easy on myself crit wise. Now's the time to practice, I guess. So here's your main character, Zatfi. I should say gender really doesn't matter in this, but I'm calling her she. She's a bit doty, a bit like oblivious, but really kind-hearted. And I'm just building all her little bits. She's getting moving arms, she's getting a moving little jellyfish bottom, she's got a little moving antenna. They're all in separate layers so they can be moved independently. I'm using Procreate. I had to learn to move them independently because I made several mistakes, and trying to lasso tool the limbs to move it just looks horrible. It looks really horrible. So the process of actually building Zafi, I did make a couple of mistakes, even this time round with all the practice that I've had through the last couple of projects. Things I could have done better. That top layer that I intend to look like jelly, I don't know if that's coming across. That's one thing I'd like to ask the class. And the arms, I have yet again not put them on separate layers. I'm gonna have to go in and fix that. It's a 5-minute job, but it's 5 minutes I could have used otherwise. I'm gonna have to make a process to-do list and stop doing that. So we're about to go into me drawing the different emotions on different layers. This is so that I can create emotion to take the viewer away, and so that you can kind of get a feel for Zatfi's kind of emotional range and characteristics visually. I'm going to ask the class if they can see any of that actually working. I'm quite pleased with it, but I know I'm biased. Things I would like to do differently with these emotions, I would like to add a little twinkle in the eye, because I'm going for that kind of Disney doe-eyed kind of look. And I would like to make the teeth a bit more rustic. These are again 5-minute jobs. It's not a big deal. I just want to ask if it's given a good range. So here you're meeting Khalifa. Actually just our base drawing was drawn in 2019. It's been changed so much since then. I think I've drawn a drawing a year or digitally, again, as I spoke about in a couple of videos ago, when I take these drawings from watercolour and pen straight into the digital platform, they do look so different, but I really like how that changed her. I haven't got an emotion range for her. The plan is to do that this week. It shouldn't take too long. It is about a 3-hour job. I would like about 8 emotions, 6 to 8. Just again to give the viewer a range. So where I was really unpleased with that kind of see-through jelly layer on the top of Zatfi, I'm quite pleased with it on this one. I'm not sure it's giving off the vibe I'm looking for, but it is giving a bubble glow, and that is useful. An evaluative note, here you can see me accidentally drawing all the tentacles on one layer and then fixing it. Thankfully fixed it so that I wouldn't waste time in the future. I'm also messing around with glitter and stuff. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to use it. I just really wanted to see what it was look like. My outcome was it was maybe a bit too much. I did leave it and just use the light pen. I really like that light pen though. The wee squiggles that I've added, completely useless in actual animation because they're on the tentacle layer, so I'm gonna have to delete that. But my overall thinking on the thoughts of Khalifa is it's went well. All the limbs move, it looks good, and I'm pretty sure that's a bubble glow, but I'm gonna ask. Personality wise, she's really sensible, restrained and efficient, but she's also got a good sense of humour, and she's determined. So we're moving on to Gaia. This one's actually based on the Greek god. This is why I did any Greek mythology research, using the wee bits of Greek mythology that are useful for the projects that I'm doing. So Gaia's going to act as like a guiding spirit in this scenario. She's going to kind of appear or turn up, and she's going to guide both Felifa and Zatfi through meditation. Felifa will already know how to meditate, but both Gaia and Felifa will be teaching Zatfi how to, while Zatfi is kind of confused. I would say that this is one concept. It is my favourite concept, but it is just one. So I'm not entirely finished with Gaia yet. I'm still deciding if I'm going to take the amethysts that are just coming up around the neck, or if I'm going to add flowers, petals, kind of things around her neck. And the shading, specifically around the body and face, needs some work. So that would be like a 2-hour job. It is the kind of 2-hour job that I can do this week coming. I've decided only the arms are going to move on Gaia, as her legs are going to be kind of like floaty, swooshy in the same way that Felifa is, with the jellyfish kind of bottom area. So the next bit of the video is going to be me gathering backgrounds, or at least the expressive lines from last week, and going to put Felifa, Gaia and what I have of the characters into this background and do a couple of mock-ups. So what you can see is just a screen recording of me jumping through different files in Procreate and dumping the characters copy and paste into one file. I've started with the characters and then I'm going to add the background after. This is me jumping in to compress this character so that I can copy and paste a compressed version into one file. It's just so that when I go to animate it's just one file to animate. When I'm putting her into Fresco to animate the limbs moving bit by bit, it'll be layer by layer, I'll be adding the frames in. If I just stop this video now, I can show you what that would look like in Fresco. So welcome to Adobe Fresco. I have not opened this for a week, so there's an update obviously. Files that I've already got saved is what I'm going to use to show you this. So we're going to look at Noble, that's my villain from my villain project that started this year. Academic year, no, the actual started January because we're in 2024 now. So you can see that I've put the limbs on a different layer. Ideally I would have put top limb, second limb on a separate layer for each other, but I haven't done that on that one. That's just kind of how that looks to animate. But it's so much easier. It really allows for sections of the body to be moved. It takes longer, but it's so worth it. It looks smooth. That's where I animated Noble getting tortured as a baby. Yeah. So let's get a wee look at that. The purpose of me showing you this is just so you can see that I can put a 3-layer loop alongside a 20-layer loop and it still works smoothly together. You can see each section, each layer that has been animated is, you can go in and draw, you can go in and edit, you can move the things around. Fresco is fantastic for edited, specific, smooth movements. So I'll be using this as well, obviously, alongside Procreate Dreams. Procreate Dreams seems to be more fantastic for movement and background, where Fresco is good at movement and characteristics. So we're back to this Gaia layer where I'm just making a mock-up. Things that came up in this process, what colour is confusion? And when I googled it, it said grey, and that actually made quite a lot of sense to me. I did try blue and I tried purple. And do I change the background colour according to the emotion, or do I just represent the passage of emotion through use of line? So this is me gathering other scratchy lines, distorted lines, expressive lines for other Procreate files, and just kind of dropping them around the characters to kind of create an aura or a representation of an aura. This gold pen, the distorted and scratchy kind of outcome is really good. It makes it less vivid than the actual characters' lines and colours and mark making, and it does act in background, so I think I like that. And going into this Procreate file, I'm looking to gather lines that represent confusion. I'm going back to that pen that I love so much, and I'm going to put it in Zapfi. Just a wee arch, copy and paste, and I quite like that. But I would like to ask when I'm getting my crits if that is a good representation, or if they can think of other ways that would really represent that better, like a spiral, or it's a sharp shape like a triangle maybe. This is the file after I've added all my favourite wee lines so far. Trying to create quite a bit of jagged confusion behind Zapfi, and a sense of calm and collectedness behind Gaia and Fleefa. So now would be a good time to talk about what my actual concept for my animation is going to be. So my prompt for the animation is Journey to Meditation or Journey of Meditation. My research process is to kind of look at how other religions and cultures look at and use meditation so that I can incorporate it into like a well-rounded, I'm not going to say explanation, but kind of walk through meditation. I'm going to be using the characters for Quested Dimensions that I've been building in this project to kind of take the viewer through a journey of Zapfi learning how to meditate. And what you've been watching on screen, to the right was Procreate, to the left was Fresco. I was dropping the Procreate layers into Fresco, and now I'm animating them, creating backgrounds, and I'm just showing you that process and how I go through that. I've done it quite quickly, so because I've had a bit of practice now, I've kind of fired through, dropping those files in, pressing animate, and animating the layers. Right now, I'm duplicating the layers so that when it goes to the grab tool, I can just kind of jump from frame to frame. So this bit that we are watching here has been speeded up quite dramatically. That's just to save a bit of time in watching. I'm just moving each frame just to see how each layer that I've added together works together. What bits I'm going to keep and what bits I'm going to dump. You'll get a better idea of how this looks in a second when I slow it down. Yeah, that's it, just moving really quickly. And this is me treating the loop. So I'm deciding how many frames, if it's going to loop, if it's going to bounce or boomerang. I've decided boomerang because it goes back on itself and it does look nice. It's more an interesting watch. That's the main characters getting animated. It's moving really quickly, but you are going to see a slow version in a minute. That's me finally deciding on a ground just to kind of add gravity to the space. It's really basic, but I've just used the smudge tool there. And this is what it looks like as a final work. This is just one mock-up. Things I like about this, I like that I've added that gravity to the ground there. It makes a space. I'm not so huge a fan on the jaggy movement, but that's something I know I can do if I put some real time into it. I love how Gaia's light pen sphere circly areas are moving. I really like those scratchy gold lines. That's really worked. I'm keeping that. I'm not so sure about the yellow smudge splatters and the purple, and I'm not so sure about the kind of brown red scratchy lines. I don't think that's really conveying anything other than confusion for the viewer to understand what the hell's going on. All in all, I'm ready for a second mock-up with these new kind of outcomes. Okay, so this is take two. Take two, I decided I was going to use a photograph just of the garden outside. Altered it with a filter in Procreate. I'm not sure how it's efficient it's been, but I like the kind of atmosphere it's set in for the characters. I think it might be a bit too loud. I'll get some feedback on that, but I really do think it is a bit too loud. Maybe if I misted it over it would work. So that's me popping Fresco in there. We're on Fresco, and that's how I managed to duplicate that image to the same level I edited. So instead of drawing the emotion kind of confusion thing that I've done at the top there, in Procreate and dropping it in, I've just drew it in fresco. I'm limited with pen use when I do that, but I think it's worked okay here. I would say a bit less noise for the next take. And this is me just kind of choosing where to place them in the space. Because it's on fast forward, it does look extremely jaggy right now, but you'll see the slowed down version in a second. As a mock-up goes, this went okay. It's like wee things like I haven't moved the limbs or anything. I have created some movement, but the kind of things are like a final edit kind of thing that takes a lot of effort, so it's the kind of thing that's only going to get done for a final edit. That background though, I think with just a little bit less noise or more mist, it could work a lot better. That's kind of how this turned out. This version, again, I'm not so sure, but it does create like a level of gravity. I'm happy with that bit. It's also kind of mystical, quite like that too. This is take 3. I used the same file and wiped it. You'll see that in a wee second. Yep, wiped it. So I kept some of that visual noise because I thought maybe on a quieter background it would work. I've misted it over like I thought it would maybe work. It has worked, but the emotion visual noise that I'm talking about isn't really useful in this situation, so that's the thing I would take it for the next take. I'm quite pleased with the quietness because it does look calm, but I don't know if it's because the white's a bit clinical that I feel like I might use parts of this, but I don't know that I'm going to use it wholeheartedly in the next take. Probably just going to take some of the shapes that have been more useful in the background and the misting layer, and then some of that movement and the characters will start to come in, hopefully. So thanks for watching. There'll be another take of this next week. It's just more mock-ups and exploration of background and how I'm going to use the characters in space.